we're going to be talking all about the remedy plate. So if you have questions, now would be a really good time to ask your questions about the remedy plate. If you have questions you want to ask, please go ahead and start putting them into the chat. And again, today is all about talking about the remedy plate, and there are many different types of plates that you can use. The one we'll be talking about today is the one that we carry here, and we have a couple of versions of that I want to make sure that we show. So we have the small one that we're going to show on camera, number 2. Hello, and welcome. All of your questions today about the remedy plate. So we have another camera that we're going to sort of show some things on, which is here. Let's see if we can get a little better view of that. And so that's one that we sell at geniusbiofeedback.com. And we're also going to show the larger one. That's going to be this one. So we'll show this one. This one I'm going to be doing some work with gardening and showing some results from using water and charging up water, but it's great for charging up large amounts of things if you have a lot of wristbands or things that you want to charge up. So we'll talk all about that. All right, let's go ahead to this. And we are streaming live to YouTube. So if you need to jump off of this call on the Zoom, then please jump onto my YouTube channel, going to Ariel Policano on YouTube, and you can join us there. We have a class that's running right now live every Thursday, which is the science of manifestation, the art of getting what you really want. So if you've ever wanted to work with affirmations in a more intentional way and understand how our words, sounds, singing, chanting, toning help you to create your own reality, then you would want to join us for this class. We do have 4 sessions that are already recorded, but you can still join us live. And people have been making a lot of really powerful transformation in this particular course. So if it's a way that you want to create something new in your life, then this would be, just do an adjustment here. This would be a great opportunity for you to make a new start and really get behind intentionally creating your world. There is more light streaming into this planet than ever before, and there's a much shorter time frame between when you're thinking things and when you're manifesting them. So you even want to be careful about what you're thinking about. So if you go to the website and you type in science of manifestation, or we've also called it affirmational magic, you can join us. It would be this Thursday. Let's see if we can get the correct date there. July 14th at 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. And thank you everybody who's joining us, who's participated in the class. It's been really fun to work with you and to see your incredible process of moving through one energy into a new energy. So this class is all about the Genius Biofeedback software. You can learn more at geniusbiofeedback.com. The Genius is a way for you to learn about the world around you. So if you've ever wanted to learn more about yourself and you thought it had to be very expensive, you can actually test yourself every day for supplements and remedies with the Genius. Find out which energies, emotional blocks are blocking you from really making breakthroughs in your life. So it's so powerful to be able to take your picture, to utilize your voice, and to learn more about yourself. And you can make a business out of this, helping other people to remove the emotional blocks and things that are holding them back. And you can learn about that in our Business of Biofeedback course, taking any of our practitioner level courses, and set yourself up for your own home-based business. We teach a subscription model for that, where you can start making $100, $200, $300 a month just by agreeing to send someone frequencies each and every week to their Quanta capsule. And anyone can do this. Anyone can learn this. We invite you to begin your new home-based business with us. Start with the Genius, geniusbiofeedback.com, and learn more about how that is possible. Today, we want to talk about the remedy plates, and I know that you have lots and lots of questions about the remedy plates, so we want to talk all about remedy plates, what they are, what you do with them, how you create different remedies. I have some different things that we can charge up, like the gua sha tool, and you can make different remedies using these vials, which we'll talk about. You can also make remedies. Let's see if I can grab some of these things back here. Okay, different supplements. You can both imprint or bring the supplement in, or you can create your own. So this is a spray bottle. You could just charge up the water in there and spray it. You could, some people will basically use the remedy plate to imprint frequencies into their food and beverages every day in order to structure or change the energy of what they're eating. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Let's talk about them. And this is a time for you to ask your questions. So load up your questions into that chat. And it basically, all a remedy plate is a vehicle to transfer frequencies from either from media meaning like a remedy, a gemstone, or to something. So you either want to bring the energy into the genius, or you want to push that energy into the certain, whatever it is that you want to charge up, like a wristband, a bracelet, maybe a semi-precious gemstone bracelet. So the genius, because of the way that it was created, allows you to do this with an audio connection. So as long as your remedy plate is designed to receive an audio connection, that 3.5 millimeter, means that it's meant to articulate with your iPad, your iPhone. And so as long as that is present, then everything that's been designed within the genius allows you to send those frequencies or imprint them through the library function and imprint them back into the genius. So you can use it from your genius, you can go and create a water remedy. You could take supplements that are already created and now charge them up with, just as an example, 528 hertz, right? Transformation and miracles, or maybe affirmations that you want to imprint into a particular remedy that already exists. Maybe you're really into young living oils. So if you're really into young living oils, you can take the genius frequencies and imprint them into the young living oils. Another idea is to take 3 young living oils or any essential oils and put all 3 of them onto the remedy plate. Then you're picking up the energetic frequency of how all 3 of them are combined, something that is not always easy to do or might be very expensive to do. So how could we test not just one, but when we put 3 together? So you can do that by putting the 3 on the remedy plate and then imprinting that energy together. So those are some ideas or things that you could do. You can also, we already talked about, so you can bring the supplement in. You could actually just imprint the supplement itself. You can create water remedies. You can charge up any remedy that you have. You can place food or beverages. So some people put tea or coffee or water every single day. Just think about it. You could drink the vibration of the affirmations. You could drink the vibration of the flower essences. You not only would do maybe a tincture bottle, this is just a spray bottle, but you could do your water bottle that you take to the gym in the morning. Maybe you want to put all types of electrolyte energies or affirmations or something, maybe the muscles, ligaments, and joints into a water bottle that you bring with you to the gym in the morning, or maybe something about yoga postures and relaxing that will help you, something about flexibility that would help you when you go to the your yoga class. So you could put that into your water bottle. You could put it into a gallon jug of water and drink that throughout the day. Perhaps you have a dog or a cat, so you could put energies for your dog or your cat into their drinking water. So there are lots and lots of possibilities. You could also just generically charge up, say you have a whole bunch of wristbands, okay? So we have maybe 10 or 15 of these. And we could switch the camera here. And if we just go ahead and we put them, let's go ahead and see if we can switch this to this. So if we just put in, well, we're going to go through this in more detail, but if we just put in a generic person, so just put in generic testing client or testing client as the actual client, not a person, then you could put, say, all 9 solfeggios into these. Now, as long as they're on the plate, they're going to get the frequency. Okay, they don't actually have to touch the plate. The plate is vibrating and giving off that frequency. So as long as they're close to it, they're all articulating, they're all getting the frequencies. So you could put into these wristbands all 9 solfeggios, and you would imprint it, say, for 20 or 30 minutes. People always ask, how long, how long, how long? Well, the longer you imprint something, the longer it will hold the charge. So the longer you imprint it, the longer it holds the charge. So maybe you want to do it for an hour, maybe you want to do it overnight. The necessary charge is probably about maybe 15 or 30 minutes to imprint anything, whether it be water, media. That's sort of enough for the more that you're bringing that frequency, the more it becomes steeped in the frequency and sort of saturated with the frequency. So once you do that, then you have the person, you instruct them to wear that bracelet. And we've had many people have imprinted just these silly silicone wristbands with frequencies for pain, or frequencies for thinking more clearly, or frequencies for, the J thing or the V thing that we've talked about. And they've had amazing results, people having less pain from wearing the band for one day. So you could create an entire side business and just offer imprinted media, whether it be imprinted different, like an obsidian gemstone that you offer on your website. And these could be little trinkets, things that people purchase as a way to get to know you. You could put these on Etsy as a way to get to know what you do. This is the first foray for them into frequency. So you could also give it as a gift for someone signing up for a class or signing up for a series of sessions. So there are many different ways to do this. When you have a band or you have a gemstone, you can use a green pen light, and it doesn't matter if it's LED, it could be like an LED, let's just say LED because it's easier for people, where I always say laser, it doesn't have to be a laser, just an LED green pen light, and that has the quality, green has the quality of heat, of clearing energy. So you can clear the energy from whatever it is if you want to recharge something with a new frequency. We're going to get to all of your questions in just a moment. And like I said, you could create a business just from basically imprinting. Let's go ahead and look at this camera view again. And so we have this gua sha tool. And so you could get a whole bunch of these, right? You could order them maybe at a discount rate, ordering them in quantity, and then you charge these up with maybe skin rejuvenation frequencies. And then you could have a little instructional video to show people how they would use the gua sha tool. So let's go ahead and, so if you actually use your gua sha, right, every single day, and it's going to be imprinted with those skin rejuvenation frequencies, radiant skin, and it's called radiant skin and rejuvenation, something like that. If you utilize any of the skin frequencies or any of the anti-aging frequencies or any of the telomere frequencies, and you do this daily, you can look on Instagram and YouTube for all types of gua sha videos and then create your own. And then this is so much more potent when it's imprinted, imbued with the frequencies. All right, let's look at a couple more slides and then we're going to get to all of your questions. All right, now we're going to go through the process live, but this is just to give you an idea. When you want to imprint something, you're going to go to your libraries and you're going to create a library. We'll do it live on the Genius Together, but you would create a library for whatever it is that you want to imprint. So if it was Young Living oils, if it was flower essences, if it was glutathione, you would put it on the remedy plate, and then you would name whatever the remedy is that you want to bring in. And then you would simply tap, it's a little hard to see here, you would tap imprint test plate, and then it would bring in that vibrational frequency. Now, one thing that you could do is you could just put the food on the plate and imprint that energy. Another thing that you can do is you can See, these were only really necessary when we didn't have the Genius, these little test vials. But instead of creating a water remedy that someone drinks, this is really handy if you want to put the frequencies for this person instead of into a water remedy. You simply put it into this test vial. Let's show that live. So then you imprint all the frequencies that they need into that test vial, and then they simply carry it with them in their pocket. So that's another thing that you can do. And that's a little bit better. When giving people a water remedy, there's always a question, is it, you have to put a little bit of alcohol in there to preserve the water. Some people don't want alcohol. Is it preserved? Is it safe? Was the bottle clean? So if you do it that way, they just have it on their person. Of course, a gemstone works great for this as well. Okay, let's get to some of your questions. All right. I have both remedy plates, but I have questions how to use the big one because the bottom ones have more connectors. Okay. So Adina, if you have this larger one, that's really awesome. It creates a bigger boom. It has more, it's good for putting a lot of things onto the plate. It has a lot more power to it, but don't worry about these. These were just, these are not necessary. So you do not need to use these. You just simply use the 3.5 millimeter port. Okay, Jen says, thank you for your class. How can I imprint supplements as a powder? Should I put the powder in a glass? No, you just take the bottle of whatever the remedy is. That bottle contains the frequency. If you put that bottle close to your body and you tested it, you would not have to take the capsules out of the bottle and open them up and put the powder into your hand. All you would need to do is put that bottle close to your body. The whole bottle is vibrating with the frequency. In order to capture the frequency, all you need to do is put the bottle onto the plate. Adina says, can we put the liquid or powder directly on the plate? Is it okay to use the container? So a very popular question there. Water charging question. If I charge 1 gallon of water and add 10 gallons of non-charged water, what is the effect? The frequency is sort of, we think about things in terms of quantity, Darren, but you absolutely can take that little tiny bit of charged water and the frequency is then going to be entrained by the rest of the water. So in a way, if you think about it from a homeopathic perspective, when they took homeopathics and then did a dilution, it actually made the remedy stronger. So by your 1 to 10 dilution, you may actually make the Genius frequency stronger into the water, but it doesn't dilute it in the same type of quantity that we think in the three-dimensional world. The frequency is then imbued and entrained throughout all the water that you've shared together. So in a way, it's going to help to purify and improve even the non-imprinted water. I haven't used mine yet. How do I connect and use this? So Connie, if you received our remedy plate, inside the box or inside the case that we send to it, we have instructions, and we do have that PDF that we'll share in just a moment. Wanted to wait for everybody to be here before we shared that PDF, and then we'll share it again in the YouTube description. Do you need to put the dosage when imprinting supplements? Only if you want to test it by dosage. So if you want to test specifically 1 capsule, then yes, then it would make sense to then just put 1 capsule on the remedy plate and say 1 capsule of vitamin C or 1 capsule of camu camu or whatever it might be. So in that case, when you're going through dose, then taking an individual part and putting that frequency on there just does make sense. All right. You're asking about other remedy imprinters, as long as they have that 3.5 millimeter connection. Okay, so here's the larger one. As long as it has that 3.5 millimeter connection there, it works the same way. So we need to show every remedy plate in existence. It just works exactly the same way. There's no difference. You just plug it in. If you need an adapter, then you might need to get an adapter to have it that 3.5 millimeter go to your lightning port or your USB-C port, then you just look for an adapter that says 3.5 millimeter to USB-C, and then you just get that adapter and then you just plug it in. So it's not that complicated. How long do we need to shine the green light on the item in order to clear it from any other vibrations? You're talking like 10 to 15 seconds. The minute that you shine that light, that green light on it, it's cleared it. Okay, question on creating tinctures. From your experience, do they need to be recharged? They do not need to be recharged. Jared, good question. Just charge it for like 30 minutes. If you charge it for 30 minutes, you're not going to need to recharge it. Pure water or pure oil, either one, it doesn't matter. Water is extremely impressionable, but whatever remedy is on the plate, it does not matter. Once you put that remedy in there, it's going to stay with that remedy. It's going to be in that remedy. The one thing you may want, if you're going to ship it, you can sort of preserve the frequency by wrapping it in foil, because a lot of things that are shipped are scanned. So that's one way to protect it. But there's nothing else really that you need to know. Once you give them the tincture, hopefully they're going to take the tincture within a reasonable amount of time anyway. So if it's like 10 years, yes, you may need to recharge it, but in general, you don't need to recharge it. Where can we get those water tests? I don't know what that is. How do we import something into the Genius? We're going to show that. We're showing it right now on that screen there. We'll show that live. What about hair from a client? Can I put that on the plate? Yes, you can. You can put the hair from a client on the plate, and then it's just, what are you testing from that? Are you testing the person? If you're going to test the person, you don't need their lock of hair. You can just test them on the Genius with their voice and picture. What are you going to do with that frequency? You're going to take the frequency of their hair and then combine it with other frequencies. You can definitely do it. You can be creative with it. Just not sure what the intention is behind it. Just coming on, but is the remedy and the imprinter the same? They all do the same thing. Spring water is the most effective. Everybody has a different take on that, Elaine. So if you like spring water and you resonate with the energy of spring water, then actually then you can use spring water. Some people like to use distilled water because it's the most impressionable. So just what the vial that I showed on the plate is this one, and you just Google testing vials, water testing vials, things like that, and you can probably find it online. Do water bottles and jugs need to be glass? Asks Karen. So if you're going to charge up water, the best thing is to charge the water in glass. So let's say you have an aluminum bottle or some type of metal bottle that's a water bottle. That's not going to be super, because the metal is going to sort of like reflect or not really absorb the energy in the same way. So in that case, it's better to have something glass that you can charge the water in and then pour it into whatever bottle that you want to take with you. So that's a pretty good question. When we add an item, for example, a supplement, how many seconds do we need to set it up? So as I said, when you're going to add something, the Genius decides how long it takes to imprint it. So when you're imprinting, the time count doesn't matter. Can you use a playlist from a capsule to imprint something? Yes. Yes, you can. If the person wants to take their Quanta capsule playlist and then imprint that into water to drink during the day, they absolutely can do that. So any of our apps, whether it be the Rife app or whether it be the Quanta capsule or the water harmonizer, all of those can interact or interface with the remedy plate and be used in a similar way. What about the hydrogen water that is created from pills? Can it be used to imprint like regular water? I believe it can. So if you create some hydrogen water with one of the hydrogen machines, I believe you can imprint it in the exact same way. Let's look at a couple more slides and then we'll go to the live view. Okay, so import to your library with the plate. You would place the substance on the plate. You would create a library and then add the item. And then when you go to the item, you would tap imprinting test plate, which is right here. We're going to look at that live in just a moment and you're good to go. So we'll look at that. And that's about it. So we'll look at the live view here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and just change the view for a second. Let me grab a couple of things here. Okay, so as we're doing this, if you have more questions, now is a great time to, we're going to go to the live view on the Genius. What other questions do you have about creating remedies, about using the remedy plate? And pardon me, I'm just grabbing some other things so we can look at some other supplements and things like that. Okay, another thing that we've charged up, and we're going to get the Genius going in just a second here, is actually these little, see if we can just place it on the plate here and we'll change the view. But these are, I'll show it on the live camera because I think that's not going to work very good here. But these are, let's see if we can get that. These Medela Tender Care Hydrogels are for moms, but you can actually imprint these. And because they have the hydrogel in there, you can actually, this is something that you can imprint and then put it on your arm or the thigh or the leg. So there's so many different ways to do this and things that you can come up with to imprint. And we'll talk more about those in just a moment. So I'm just switch this back here. Okay, yeah. So this is an opportunity for the next 30 minutes. We're going to go through and show on the Genius how to do this. But this is a great opportunity for you to, what are the questions that you've really wanted to ask about your imprinting that you've really wanted to know? We also have this toroidal broadcaster now, so we'll show this a little bit more, and we could show it on camera as well. But this will create the energy of toroids in your home to clear your home. It will enhance and elevate the level of frequencies coming from the Genius in a way that's really unique. And so because this toroidal broadcaster has this audio jack, it just goes really nicely and connects with your Genius. And then all those frequencies from the Genius will play through the geometry of a toroid. And so this creates an incredibly coherent energy in your home, and very, very powerful to be around, and really enhances what you're already doing with your Genius. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this here. And we're just waiting for the reflector. There we go. Okay, so we'll continue to answer more of your questions. We also do have the remedy plate instructions. So let's see if we can find those. All right. And let's go ahead and got this in the chat. Let's go ahead and make sure it goes to everybody. So these are the remedy plate instructions for the yellow remedy plate, which is the broadcaster. Let's see where it is, right here. Okay, so someone said, Connie said, I never took out my remedy plate, haven't connected it yet. And so you can basically go through these. We also have other remedy plate videos on my YouTube channel. Some are short, some are long. And that will also help you to get everything set up with your remedy plate. And the toroidal, this is on the website, and it's called the toroid coil. If you go to the website and look for toroid coil, we can get that link for you. And so when you could, this is really great. You could play the home clearing frequencies through the coil. You could just change the energy in your home. But you could also send frequencies remotely to people, and they're also going to receive this energy of the toroid. And like I said, it has that really great 3.5. So it's made to actually interact with the Genius. So let's go ahead and keep your questions coming. They're awesome. So let's go through it step by step in just a moment. There was a question from Linda. She says, can you imprint garden seeds? Absolutely. So go ahead and imprint those garden seeds with affirmations, create affirmations for plants. We have a garden series on the website that you can just type in the word garden and you'll see that series come up. But you can use anything. You could use sacred geometry. You could use the golden ratio. You could use all 9 solfeggios. You could use all the, even though the nogiers were sort of created for humans, they're created for nature. So the nogiers could help plants as well. You could look up all the things that you need to know, obviously all the minerals. Now we have a mineral library that you may be interested in. Let's go ahead and see if we can put that one up. Because the regular minerals one is more human minerals, and you may want to get all the, you know, this is something that I don't know why this happens, but I just turn off the camera just for 1 second here. Just stop this. Let's see if we can just lower this down here. When you test libraries the next day and you still have your Genius going on the same session, one thing that I've noticed is you don't have the access to the database. So I'm hoping with our new version that will be fixed. Let's see if this will work. Okay, would the toroidal work in a 3,000 square foot home? Yes, it's creating a toroidal field, which is going to emanate out. And just like that, when you have a ripple in the pond and it can ripple out to the entire pond, that toroidal broadcast is going to affect your entire home if it's 3,000 or 16,000 square feet. And you can start to experience the difference in your home by playing those frequencies. Can you explain the difference between the PEMF wristbands, ankle with the lights and the coil? Yes, that's called pulsed electromagnetic frequency. It is enabled through a copper coil that is within that particular piece of technology. That piece of technology also has a LED red light. So, and I believe it also has an infrared light. So those are light technologies, and those have something called PEMF. This simply takes your frequencies and pushes them out in a specific sacred geometry called a toroid. So it's been very, very carefully designed. It has some copper coils within it. It will actually, well, it'll run a charge, but it's just very, very different. PEMF is different because it has an internal copper coil that creates a certain frequency that's very coherent, that's sort of like grounding, creates a wellness within you, but they're not in any way the same technology. So let's go ahead, and we just wanted to look at the minerals. And so there's a minerals library that has all the minerals. So this would be something that you could play for your plants and imprint the seeds with that, or different types of the parts of the plants. The plant anatomy is another thing that you could do. So these are all the minerals, because there's so many minerals in plants that are not necessarily accounted for in that human mineral panel. All right, let's get a couple of things maybe up here for you so you can see it. All right, let's just go to the website for a moment. It's just so not cooperating. All right, so if we look on the website, we would just type in the word toroid, and you can grab that toroidal coil product. All right, so there's the link for the toroidal coil. Okay, can you use it on a body like a sore muscle? I use my speaker and, oh yes, so that's a very important point. So your basically any of these remedy plates work as broadcasters. So whether it's the toroid coil or it's the actual plate itself, you can take this and you can use it and broadcast it to a sore shoulder or an acupuncture point. So anywhere you could use this, right, for skin rejuvenation. So this in and of itself is a powerful broadcaster. So it doesn't have to be something just on the plate. You could actually be using this anywhere on the body to bring the frequencies or the whole body. So that's actually a very, very good question. All right, I just arrived. Can somebody post the remedy plate instructions? We're going to be posting those on the YouTube description, and we also post this on the blog. So it's never a worry if you miss that or you don't see it. All right, we were just about to go through how to create an actual library. So let's get back to the business on that. And if you had something that you wanted to imprint, see what happened with that camera since we've moved some things around. We're going to talk about that. So if you want to do, you might want to just go to your libraries. Just go ahead and go to your libraries and let's create a library. And we'll just call it Supplements Imprinted. And we will save that. Now let's see if we can go to that other camera view. Okay, so we have a couple of the Dr. C7. This is one that's really great for inflammation and reducing inflammation. So if we wanted to imprint that, we would just add items to the library. We would type it in, inflammation tea remedy. And then we would basically, instead of the archetype encoding, then we would simply go to, instead of this, we would go here, imprinting test plate. All we need to do is just tap this once and it imports the frequency, and we just wait for it to do its thinking, to interface with the plate and bring in that frequency. And then it says it added it. And so we want to say, okay. And then I always say sort of update it. All right. And then if we wanted to switch these, now we've got another one. This is the Dr. C7. All of the C minerals are in here. So we would do another one, add another library, and then we would just type in C minerals. It's actually not, it's C vegetable minerals. There we go. So now you've got that imported. And once you do that, you want to make sure that you add it to the client. So let's go ahead and switch this again. And so now what we're going to do is go back one step here, back arrow. And now we just want to make sure that we add it to the client. So add it to the client, select it, add it. And now it should actually go allow us to retest everything. And then we can find it. All right, so let's see. Can you imprint an iPhone? I'm going to assume you mean, can you imprint with an iPhone? If so, the answer is yes. If it's not, if you're actually trying to imprint an iPhone, I don't understand why. Maybe you're trying to imprint the EMFs. I don't think that would work, but anything is possible. We don't know what is really possible. It's going to be you sort of pioneering and figuring those things out. Stephen says, once a bracelet is charged and we want to change the frequency imprinted, is that possible? Yes, you just use a green LED light, get a green LED pen light, You can get it on Amazon or anywhere online. You take that green pen light and you turn it on and run it over whatever the media is for 5-15 seconds, and it will clear the energy from that media. So then we will go to supplements and supplements imprinted, and then those two will test. So we could clearly see that inflammation tea remedy is resonating really, really nicely. It's a great way to have the energy of the particular remedy, you know, in your genius. It's a wonderful way to do this. Okay. Once, let's see, is it better to have the plate or the wrist connectors? So this is a very personal, you're going to have to just, Angela, just get those wristbands. Do you like the wristbands? Do you like how you feel with the wristbands, or do you prefer the broadcaster? With our remedy plate instructions, there's a very, very specific, so if you look at these remedy plate instructions here, let's see if we can find it on here, spotlight. All right. All right, so what we have here is the geometric tracings of the circuit board array called the path of the current of the remedy plate are designed to allow the generation of scalar waves. Each of the 4 layers of the plate contain, let's see, look at the, see if we can look at this on camera again. Okay, the geometric tracings of the circuit board array called the path of the current of the remedy plate are designed to allow the generation of scalar waves. Each of the 4 layers of the plate contains a very specific and precise geometric pattern that generates energy vortexes where the tracing line crosses. So this is designed in a very specific way with this plate. And so it makes a very powerful broadcaster as a result. I don't think there's any way to compare. There's complete, sort of like comparing apples to oranges. It's just, what do you prefer? Obviously, this is easier to move around than the wristbands. So if you want to broadcast, say, to the whole body, I don't think it's going to be as easy to do with the actual wristbands. All right, so on to more questions. Can you copy a homeopathic medicine? Yeah, because absolutely, the homeopathic medicine is vibration. And when you place it back on that plate, you're getting the vibration. You're just basically measuring and importing the vibration of that. Okay, Jared asks, question of clearing Reiki energy from a tool. If I wanted to clear a necklace, for example, could I clear it with the green light of the existing Reiki and infuse the new with the remedy plate? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. Just take the green light and clear that existing energy and infuse the new energy with the remedy plate. You're spot on. That's absolutely correct. Do you know where to get 2 wristbands if they do not come with the plate? We have wristbands that are the neodymium magnet wristbands. Those are a little bit different. We can show them on camera in just a moment. Let's switch back the view here. But I think those are not imprintable. Those really wouldn't be imprinted. I think you're talking about the other type of wristbands. Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have my microphone on correctly. Let me correct that in a moment. Okay, let's get the microphone back where it belongs for better sound here. So I'm sorry, that needs to go there. Okay, so let's talk about, so first of all, these wristbands. Now you could order them from us, but it's better if you actually just go to rapidwristbands.com, and you get these embossed wristbands. And then you can't really see it so well, but with these embossed wristbands, you're going to be able to put an affirmation on the wristband on the front and then your own brand inside. So we put a regular print of our brand inside, and then we did the emboss. This one says, every cell in my body is well. Can't really see it there. And there's another one on the other side of the wristband that says abundance and vitality, and it's embossed. So if you want to put an affirmation or something that represents your brand, that's what you would do. So you just order from Rapid Wristbands. They're reliable. Get, a variety of colors or something that represents your branding. And then you want to do that, I think, yourself, so you can have your branding on there. Okay. Okay, so we wanted to show the other wristbands that people might be confusing because of the word wristbands. So those are silicone wristbands. And then we also have other wristbands, but these wouldn't really be appropriate for imprinting. These are appropriate if you want to wear them. So let's go ahead and show those. Okay, these are the Quantum wristbands. I don't really recommend them. But I don't not recommend them. I'll tell you, they're great. They have these neodymium magnets. You can wear them on your wrist. But what these are for is to receive frequencies from your genius wearing the wristbands. The only reason and then they come wired here, so they're going to connect with your genius. I believe that sound is extremely effective for receiving the genius frequencies. And I was just mentioning incidentally that you could also use the remedy plate as a broadcaster. So it doesn't mean that you have to. So just because it can be a broadcaster doesn't mean that it has to be. I like to receive the frequencies through sound. But that being said, the fact that you have this and you can use it, then why not use it, right? These particular wristbands are interesting because they contain these flower of life neodymium magnets. And so that can articulate, with your wrist. You can wear them. I've just never been, I feel a little bit trapped wearing the wristbands. I feel like the clients do as well. They only work unidirectionally, so they don't pick up any information. They're not going to be assessing information for you. They're only going to be receiving information. So they work in one direction from the genius to this wristband. That being said, you could take this and you could use it like this and then just apply it to any part of the body like a meridian point. So if you like this, we have them on the website. Just look for wristbands on the website and you can get it. And again, you just attach it to your genius if you like to do that. But for receiving the frequencies in general, I've always been a fan of headphones, whether they be wired, wireless, or just listening to the device in your home and hearing the frequencies, because that is interacting with your central nervous system. So that's why the preference. All right, I have the plate, but wonder if I can imprint. I have the plate, but I wonder if I can imprint by putting something directly into the iPad. Yes, you can just do that by something called archetype encoding. So let's look at that again. We do have lots and lots of tutorials on my YouTube channel about the library. We have at least two, three or more about making libraries. So if we went back to the supplements, it wouldn't be supplements that are imprinted, but let's just go back to that library. So we have the supplements imprinted library. So this would be something that would be not imprinted if we just thought about thieves from Young Living Oil, right? That's a very popular one. So if we just added another library and we just put thieves from Young Living Oils, everybody knows that one, right? Very, very good for whatever ails you at the time, right? So what we're going to do here is if we don't have the actual thieves remedy, we're just going to use archetype encoding. Now, over the years, I have tested libraries that I've created that were all archetype encoded versus ones that were imprinted. They test almost identical. And I invite you to try that yourself. By the way, to delete a remedy, anything from the library, you just simply go here, you pull it to the left, and it will delete it. Now, you usually can only edit these if you've created the library. So if this is one that you got or received from us, then you would not be able to delete something. We do not get in trouble for copying frequency. I mean, that's sort of an unexplored territory, and you just have to use your own judgment with that. All right. The ones like they mention at the end of those remedy plate instructions. Yes, place one of the wristbands on the remedy plate. Deborah, what we're referring to is the silicone wristbands. That's what we're referring to. So a bit off subject, but can we use the genius on a garden in general? Yes, you can. So you could remote it. You could take a picture of the garden and remote the frequencies to your garden. How do we get the other way of imprinting something like wristbands? Angela, I don't understand that. How do we go other way imprinting something like wristbands? We showed that before. Let's show it again. Maybe you arrived a little bit late. So if you wanted to imprint anything, you simply just go to your genius. Let's go ahead and get the solfeggio tones. And let's go ahead and we'll put them all up into the quick zap. So we'll get all of our solfeggio tones or remedies into our quick zap. And then we simply close the tray. We now have the 9 items in the tray. And as long as, let's just get the other view. So let's go ahead to the other camera. So now what we're going to do is we're going to imprint all 9 solfeggios into the C minerals. So this is a product we have on the website. It's called Dr. C7. It's 7 different C minerals. But in order to make this even more powerful, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put it on here, and we're simply going to gather up those 9 solfeggio tones into that quick zap. And as soon as we play it, because the remedy plate is connected, okay, so we've got a wire connection. It's a little hard to see, but we actually have a wire that's connected to the plate. Maybe we can just get that a little bit into view. Okay, here, right? You can see that connection right there. And then we're just simply going to hit the play button there. And when we're playing it, it's actually moving the energy from the genius into, let's see if we move this back. We can get a little bit better view. Turn this around. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So now what's happening is it's moving the information from the genius into the plate. And as it broadcasts from the plate, all of that energy is now moving into the remedy. All right. So can I put the remedy plate where I need it on my body? That's called broadcasting. And we also mentioned that. So let's say it again. You can take the remedy plate and you can lift it up and it becomes a broadcaster. So suppose I wanted to take the frequencies, all of the solfeggio tones, and I wanted to go ahead and broadcast that to my hand. So I'm going to take that, and now this is broadcasting from here to the hand. All right. So as I do that, I'm getting all of those frequencies. So that is how you could broadcast it to all the solfeggios. You could put it on, you know, all the different points of the body. You could put it on the occiput, wherever you want to. Okay, all the questions are coming now. Now we're warmed up. Everybody's awake and ready to go. If you're drinking water immediately, wait, let me see if I can get this question. Okay. If you are drinking water immediately, can you imprint coffee and water for 3 minutes? If you're drinking water immediately, can you imprint coffee and water? Hey, Rachel, give me a little bit more on that question. I don't quite understand it. Everything breaks down over time, especially electronic connectors. How do we know the plate continues to function? This plate is virtually indestructible, Darren. So I don't really think unless you have frays in your wires, your iPad goes out of power. The power from the iPad is what is giving the power to the remedy plate to drive the frequencies, and it is connecting with the circuit board on that remedy plate. So unless you are going to imprint something 10,000 times, you're not going to be able to wear out either the wire or the circuit board in this lifetime. I could be wrong though. How long could we leave? Should we leave a broadcast of gemstones or a gold bracelet on our remedy plate? So Elaine, once again, the rule of thumb is 15 to 30 minutes. The longer that you leave something on the plate, the more that it entrains and is affected by that vibration. So if you left it overnight, that would be really, really saturated. But just for expediency and because time is money, an efficient amount of time would be 30 minutes, but you could go as low as 15 minutes. Once the frequency plays into that, imprints into that particular thing, it's going to stay there. Okay, Margaret says, I'm very new to the technology. Can those silicone wristbands be imprinted with frequencies? Yes, they can. We've been doing that this morning. If you don't have a plate, can you imprint it by playing the Genius program with the item by the speakers? Yes, you can. In fact, you can take your headphones and surround whatever it is you want to imprint, but it's not as efficient. This particular remedy plate is designed in a very specific way. Let's go back to the remedy plate itself. And let's just for fun, let's put that gua sha tool on there. Or once again, we said, let's just talk about this one again. This has a hydrogel quality to it. So there's water actually, and then there's a sticker. See if we can see that on camera, that you peel back so that you could apply it to any part of the body. It's not being very cooperative. And so then that sticker will stay on. There we go. See if we can look at that. So this is really cool. So this particular sticker, say you want to think about a hormone patch, right? If you imprinted all the frequencies for pain or all the frequencies for muscles and joints onto the remedy plate for 15 or 30 minutes, and then this is going to take on, there's a water quality in the hydrogel that's going to be absorbing. And then we talked about the obsidian, like the gua sha tool. So we're putting all the solfeggio tones into that right now. So if you don't have a plate, can you imprint them? Yes, you can, but let's look once again at the description of the remedy plate, okay? The geometric tracings, okay, are designed to allow the generation of scalar waves. Each of the 4 layers of the plate contains a very specific and precise geometric pattern that generates energy vortexes wherever the tracing line crosses. All right, and there's many tracings on here if you look at the specifics on the plate. So can your headphones do that? Can the speakers do that? No, but could you do it now just as a way to get the sound frequencies in there? Sure, there's nothing wrong with that. We've recommended that for years, that people can try that. So put your, you can play headphones to water and it works for that. Why wouldn't you be able to play the headphones generating the Genius frequencies and play it that way? That's absolutely fine. Okay, so, all right. All right, can you imprint a weed from the yard and broadcast a kill frequency? Janie, that's a very good question, but I would suggest that you think about it in a different way. You could definitely imprint, you could take a picture of it. There's a couple of different ways to think about this. So you could take a picture of your entire lawn or garden and just send harmonizing frequencies like the solfeggios, or create a series of affirmations. So let's just take that. You take a picture of the lawn. You even could just listen to the sound of the lawn itself, just play it in just the sort of white noise above your lawn. Date and gender is just not going to matter that much. Could be the date that you purchased the property. And then you could create a series of affirmations. I want my lawn to be weed free. I want the weeds to grow elsewhere, have them grow elsewhere on different property or on nature property. I want them to diminish in amount. I want them to surrender and stop growing, whatever it is. Create a series of affirmations and then play that. Remember, the Genius works remotely, so you don't even really need, just crash for a moment here. You don't even really need to be out on the lawn itself to do that. We're going to bring this back in just a moment here. Another idea is you could imprint the actual weed itself. And yes, you could play kill frequencies for it, or you could play harmonizing frequencies, or you could play affirmations for it. So there's just a lot of different ways that you could come at that. But I think it's an interesting idea to actually imprint the energy of the weed, and then you could put it in the tray, and maybe, vinegar is a gentle way. Maybe you could put you could do an imprint of the vinegar that we use, regular vinegar that we use, the distilled vinegar, white vinegar, and then maybe put that in the tray with the actual imprint of the weed. Maybe that will help. I hate the idea of using actual like Roundup or something like that, even energetically. So that's why I was thinking vinegar. All right, the questions are coming. I love it. It looks like you have your remedy plate connected to the power source instead of the audio. The reason that we have to do that is because, as you know, with an iPad, let's see if we can show that on camera again. As you know, with an iPad, that it doesn't have the audio connection anymore. So that's why this works. So yeah, we don't have an audio connection on this iPad Pro. So any audio, as you know, even for regular listening purposes, has to come in through this particular port. So let's see if we can get it. All right, so this port, right, that is your audio port. That's how you listen to music with an iPad Pro. This is a USB-C, and then your Lightning port with your phone. So that's why that is the way that it is. These are really good questions. They're sort of the detail questions that you need. Let's go back here. All right, would you suggest a limit on the number of frequencies being imprinted into an item? That isn't really so important. So, have at it. It's only limited in our thinking. There's no limited capacity for the media to take on the frequencies. But when you're thinking about the human interaction, you want to be thinking, how much information do you want that person to be drinking in and assimilating? So we'll answer all the rest of the questions here. So we're going to go a little bit over time. So with that in mind, 30 to 50 being a sweet spot of frequencies that really, I think after that, it's sort of the law of diminishing returns. That's my take. But if you're just the kind of person where you just say, Ariel, I feel really moved to do 100 or 200 frequencies, you can absolutely do it. So there's no limitation. That's only a limitation in our brain about quantity. So you can go ahead and imprint 100 frequencies into any media that you would like. All right, so to save time, can you just imprint 3 minutes into the morning in the AM to enjoy coffee or water? Oh, totally understand you now, Rachel. Yes, you remember, you only need to imprint. Okay, let me re-explain. You could get an imprint of frequencies that could be substantial in 15 to 30 seconds for something like food or water. So if you're charging up food or water in the morning, that's very, very temporal, you're going to consume it in the next 24 hours, then 1 minute is sufficient. So yes, even if you charged your coffee for a minute of frequencies, it would be enough to get the frequencies. You do not need to charge coffee, water for that 15 minutes because it's something you're having very, very quickly. And so you don't need that much frequency imbued into it. It's a good point. And water itself is incredibly impressionable. So I think water really doesn't require that much frequency time to imprint. What's the advantage of using the frequencies, using the remedy plate on your body versus just playing the sounds? It's just different qualities. In a way that taking the remedy plate and broadcasting it, it's just a different quality of experiencing. It's not necessary, but you think about when you have pain or something that's very localized, you may want to get that focused frequency on that particular area in order to facilitate maybe a greater, catalyst of movement or something like that. These are all different tools. None of them are necessary. You could just have the genius on its own without any of these accoutrements and have a great time. But these are things that could enhance it. It also allows you to have an additional side business because you could imprint any type of media generically and just sell it on your website as, hey, I've imprinted media. I've imprinted this gua sha tool with all 9 solfeggios, or I've imprinted this beautiful bracelet, an amethyst bracelet, or whatever it is, an obsidian bracelet that you can use. And I've also imprinted it with 100 affirmations or 108 affirmations or money magnetizing affirmations. So it's another way for you to have other products and vehicles to generate income as well. Okay. Would you suggest, okay, we did that one. Could you do more than one library into your tool, like solfeggios and nogies? Yeah, there's no limitation on the library. I'm just giving examples. So whatever, Sarah Jo, you want to put into your main hold tray, and then you hit the play button from there, all of those frequencies will play into the particular media. I was just showing an example of solfeggios by putting them into the Quick-Zap, but it's not limited by any library. Just the same way that you would play frequencies for a client, you can select those frequencies, any frequencies whatsoever, for pain, for trauma, for traumatic brain injury, headaches, allergies. Think of the multitude of bands that you can create. One of our members in our Genius community has created many bands. One for harmonizing food that has vitamins and minerals in it. One that's for pain. One, she has a multitude of them that she sells on her website very successfully and ships them all over the world. Somebody asked, do I carry the patches? We'll share this in the YouTube description and then also in the newsletter or the email that goes out today. So the patches look like this, but they're from a company called Medela. They're right on Amazon. So go to Amazon and look for these Tender Care hydrogels. And this is what they look like. And then you can start imprinting them. All right. Okay, so Wendy says, where do you get those patches? The hydro patch, we just talked about it. Could you put CBD frequencies in for pain and place the patch on the source of the pain? Now you're getting it, Wendy. That's exactly what you do. It's exactly what you do, whether you put it into a wristband, hydrogel. That's why the hydrogel is helpful, because you can tape it. You can basically, the adhesive, you can use it on any part of the body. So now you're exactly getting the point of what we're doing. You totally got it. Can I imprint a Rife frequency on the Remedy plate? Any of our apps will interface with the Genius. So whether it's the Rife app or Rife frequency, any frequency that you can have on your Genius, the Rife app, the water harmonizer, the capsule, you can interface in the same way that we have the setup here with the Remedy plate and absolutely go for it. So anything could be on the other side of this. This could be the water harmonizer. This could be the Quanta capsule, whatever it is. All of our apps interface with the Remedy plates. Can you imprint more than one library? We did that. Can you imprint into a magnet? I don't think that is appropriate for imprints. Okay. Is it more powerful to plug into the power port or the audio port? Android, and if you have, Carolee, if you have a audio port, then use the audio port. Yes, you should use the audio port. If you have an audio port, you should use the audio port. That's what it's there for. Okay, sorry, instead of doing that, we just switched it off. Sorry about that. All right. How long would you say frequencies add on an imprinted item? I know it may be different per item. So Angela, as long as you imprint for 15 or 30 minutes on any media, you should be good to go. Can I use any Remedy plates that have and the 3.5 millimeter? You can use any of those, whether you get them from anywhere. You can imprint it and make it positive. Thanks, Darren. I appreciate the kind words. Are you imprinting a silicon coaster? Yes, we did do those silicon coasters, those little trivets. You can look online. We gave those away in the imprinter kits that we have. So we took a silicon trivet or a little coaster. And so what you do is you imprint those with solfeggios, vitamins, minerals, maybe things that are about clearing toxins. And so you imprint that for 30 minutes, and then you put your food onto that trivet or that coaster, and then the frequencies go into the food. It's another product that you could create, right? For GMO clearing, and then you don't even have to wait. Yeah, you would wait 5 minutes for it to basically be imbued with the frequencies. All right, so if you have put the heart and stroke library, can you put the whole library, or do you have to open the library and drag each one onto the remedy plate? In the new version, when you drag an entire library, it will drag all of the frequencies in. But for now, you have to select all the frequencies. So you can use the bulk drag and drop function and drag in all the blues, all the yellows, all the greens, and that will give you all the frequencies in there. Okay, so yes, it's the Medela patches. Some people are sharing the information on those. Yeah, I said they were on Amazon. It's okay. It's hard to hear everything at one time. But yes, they're the Medela patches. They're on Amazon. We'll share that information in the newsletter and so on and so forth. So I think there's maybe some questions in the Q&A. I received the black remedy plate. Why didn't you send that one? Trina, please don't ask that question through the Q&A. Dr. Trina, we love you. If you have a question about something. So this remedy plate used to have a green masking. So at one time it had a green masking on it. So you might be confusing that with if you're talking about this one, if it looks the same but has a green covering, it just was a green masking that we were using at one time. It's the same plate. If you received a different remedy plate, it does exactly the same thing. You don't need a different remedy plate. Would you put the remedy plate on a particular area to be more powerful than the imprinted patch? I don't have an answer for you, Tamina. You could just try it if you want to. I apologize if these questions were mentioned. How do you know the frequencies were indeed loaded? How do you know that your dosage should be what should be on a bracelet? So Wendy, those questions are not really answerable, nor are they that important. What you need to know is that your iPad or phone was on. Was it on? Did you play the frequencies? Just go ahead and write down how long you played the frequencies for. If it was on and the plate was connected, then it's foolproof. There's nothing that can't work. If your remedy plate wasn't on or it wasn't connected in some way, then it wouldn't work. Other than that, we know that the power from your iPad is driving the energy, the power behind the actual plate itself. All right, so can you run the frequencies from the quick zap to the remedy plate, or does it only work through progressive insights? Anytime that you hit the play button, let's just look at it on the Genius. So if you play the play button from quick zap, it plays as long as it's connected. If you hit the quick balance and you hit quick balance, it plays the frequencies as long as it's connected. If you go into progressive insights and you play the frequencies from there, it plays as long as it's connected. As long as you hit the play button on your Genius, it's running frequencies as long as the plate is connected into the particular plate that you have. Can I add the parasite frequencies? Absolutely. Yes, you can. Imagine putting parasite frequencies in and drinking that water. You better be ready to release maybe the parasites. Okay. All right. So this has been all about the remedy plate. This is our Genius Weekly training that we have every Monday at 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock Eastern time. I really appreciate it. We'll be back next week and we hope to see you then. Thank you everyone for being part of our remedy plate class today. Have a wonderful rest of your day.